Today I am answering all of your questions in my recent YouTube poll, and while I do that, I'm going to be getting ready, doing my makeup, doing my hair, and so it's going to be a fun video. I want to thank Boca for sponsoring today's video. More about them in a little bit. Well, hey friends. It is such a dark and dreary day, but I have been wanting to do a Q&A for so long, and I am coming at you with no makeup because one of the most frequently asked questions when I did my poll here on YouTube was, can you do your makeup? Which I'm not a fan of doing. This is me without any makeup, and, well, I'm sorry, I take that back. I actually have a little bit of mascara on. Right now I'm currently using the All May Length and Lift mascara. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, there we go. And as you can see, I've been decorating for Christmas. I'm not quite finished yet, but I'm getting there. So I have your questions here on my laptop. I'm gonna keep referring to this. All right, friends, well, before I continue doing my makeup, I want to talk about another part of my morning routine, and that is this new toothpaste from Boca that I have been using. It is probiotic toothpaste. Let me tell you a little bit about them. So you guys know that probiotics are known to support the growth of good bacteria, improving oral wellness. Well, Boca has a magic ingredient called nanohydroxyapatite. This replaces fluoride, making this toothpaste safe enough to swallow. It's perfect for sensitive teeth, it promotes a healthy microbiome, and it has decades of research behind it. In fact, nanohydroxyapatite has been used in Japan for over 40 years, and it's also been used by NASA. While lots of toothpastes use hydroxyapatite, Boca is unique in that it uses nanohydroxyapatite. This is a smaller compound that's really able to get into the pores of your teeth. Boca has some amazing flavors, including citrus mint, peppermint blossom, and element. Now, the citrus mint is a blend of peppermint, spearmint, and ylang ylang. It's also fluoride-free, paraben-free, and it helps calm and soothe and invigorate your senses. The peppermint blossom has an invigorating mint taste with bright citrus, eucalyptus, and subtle nutmeg. Not only does it contain NHA, but it's also fluoride-free, paraben-free, and it helps to power up your smile and energize your everyday routine. Guys, right now you can click my link in the description box below to get 15% off of your Boca Amazon order. That's 15% off. So whether you are looking to start off the new year with healthier habits or you're just looking for some awesome stocking stuffers for Christmas, Boca is the perfect option. They also have a Boca Kids Orange Cream toothpaste and also Watermelon Mint toothpaste, which my kids have really been loving. Not only is Boca fluoride-free and also paraben-free, it's also cruelty-free. And on top of that, it's thoughtfully formulated, powered by nature, it's free of artificial flavoring, it helps maintain healthy teeth and gums, it removes surface stains, freshens your breath, it's safe for sensitive teeth, and it helps to remove plaque and tartar. You guys are gonna love this toothpaste. Not only can you get 15% off of your Boca Amazon order using my link in the description box below, but I also wanted to let you know that the probiotic citrus mint toothpaste is available at walmart.com. Our family has really enjoyed using Boca toothpaste, and I know you guys are gonna love it too. So make sure you click that link in the description box below for all of this information. Right now, I've been trying to find the right makeup. Right now I'm currently using this Well People brand. I got it at Target and I'm really liking it. It's very clean. It's all EWG certified. This is like a stick foundation and concealer in one. It's not too heavy. You know what? I might need to grab a mirror too because it's hard to kind of see my face. I do still. One of the questions was, how old are you? Do I have to share that? I'm 37. And, you know, your skin changes as you get older, but somehow I'm still dealing with acne as a 37-year-old woman, so that's always fun. So I need a concealer that will like cover up my acne, but also not settle into my fine lines and wrinkles. So that's been an interesting journey, trying to figure that one out. A while back, Merit Beauty sent me some of their products, and I would say that I do really love their brush. I liked their makeup a lot, actually. It's just been a while since I've tried it. So this is kind of similar, like the stick foundation is kind of similar to Merit's. So I'm just going to kind of blend this while I answer some more questions for you, and I'll kind of explain what I'm doing. Let me grab a mirror though. All right, man, it is so dark. Like if you guys could see out my window, the sky is completely gray. So it's definitely a cozy day for Christmas lights. First question, which I thought was really good. It says, things your mom did to help create this beautiful relationship between you two, and what you implement in your family life in order to build that connection with your boys. I have 3 boys and a girl, and I would love your perspective on motherhood, so any advice would be lovely. Okay, I would just say the number one thing that comes to mind is just that my parents were very real, and they lived out their faith, and they weren't one way on Sunday and a different way Monday through Saturday. Another thing with my parents that I would say is that they very much showed so much grace. I think that's really important. When we screwed up as kids or when we made mistakes, the emphasis was always on Christ. Like it was always on my relationship, my personal relationship with Christ. And that's what my parents tried to foster and encourage. And so if we messed up or we did something wrong or we disobeyed, there was so much grace that they showed to us, and they were always so loving and kind and explained like, hey, we're not perfect people, we're gonna mess up. You know, these are the consequences for your mistake, but just know that we love you and we forgive you and we want what's best for you. And so I think that that was so important because it made me want to run to my parents when I messed up rather than run away from them. So that was another thing that I think really helped. My mom prayed for us every day, all the time. She tells us even today, like when people ask her like, oh, what's the secret to raising kids? She will tell you right away, prayer. She said, I was just on my knees praying for those children. She gives all the glory to God and just says, mamas, you need to pray. Start praying now. Okay, next question I'm going to answer. Can you have your hubby join you and talk about what he does for a living and what he does to support you? Okay, Mike does not enjoy, I forgot to tell you guys, I'm using the Thrive Cosmetics like blurring powder. I think what is it called? It's called Translucent Matte Soft Focus Setting Powder. I like it. My favorite powder was by, it doesn't matter. They stopped making it, which made me so sad. So I'm kind of on a journey to find another blurring powder. And so far I'm liking this one. Right now I'm using the Well People bronzer just to add some contour. This is called Sun Glow. And I've really loved this bronzer. I've been using it for a while and I just kind of apply it like where the sun would naturally hit your face. Obviously, I'm not out in the sun this time of year, but oop, man, I gotta get a mirror. I'm gonna mess this makeup up. I'm looking at a tiny little square on my camera. It's probably not the best to be doing my makeup. And then I run it down my neck too. All right, let's talk about my husband. My husband went to, I think I have a whole video on how my husband and I met. We have been together since high school. He went to college. He has a degree in pastoral ministries. So I had my eyebrows microbladed a couple years ago. One of the best decisions ever. But because my actual eyebrow hairs are quite blonde, I just kind of go over them really lightly with the Maybelline Express Brow Pencil, and I use the color Taupe. There we go. As an assistant pastor, he does all kinds of things. He teaches Sunday school classes, he runs our children's ministry, he leads men's Bible studies, just a lot of different things. So I did get a question that says, what is the most challenging thing about living on land? Which made me laugh because I do not live, I do not live on land. I guess I can understand why someone might think that, but no, we live in a neighborhood. So there's challenges, you know, living in a neighborhood sometimes when you're trying to film and you're outside and, you know, someone decides to start cutting a tree down or something and it's like, oh, well, I guess I won't be filming outside today. But I mean, it's just silly stuff like that. You know, one time I was trying to film a garden video or something and someone was playing music really loud outside and I was like, this isn't gonna work today. So you have to pivot, and it's very strange when people drive by and see me outside with my camera. I will never ever get used to that. I always feel awkward. I always feel weird. Even when I'm filming in stores, I feel so strange. So I just went over my eyebrows with some eyebrow gel to kind of keep everything in place here. Next question. What has been your biggest challenge as a stay-at-home mom and homemaker? I would say my biggest challenge has been seeing my work as a homemaker as kingdom work. And this is something that my brother actually really helped me to see early on. He was over here helping me with something. He's kind of, he's good with tech stuff. So he was over here back when Caleb was a baby. This is like 7 years ago. And he was trying to help me figure something out with my blog. And the baby started crying and I got all frustrated and he was like, Andrea, don't worry about it. Like, what you're doing is kingdom work. And I remember hearing him say that and just being like, what? Like, comforting this crying baby is kingdom work? And he was like, yes, absolutely. And so I think that kind of really helped me realize that day that as a homemaker, like, we are all called to make disciples as believers. These little hearts right under my roof that I have the opportunity to love and to train and to teach. When I care for them and feed them, I am investing into eternal things. And so, and I am making an impact for eternity. So anyways, that was my biggest challenge early on. I'm sad that it took me so long to really understand that. And I have to remind myself of that all the time still to this day. I'm just putting on some eyeshadow now. I don't know. Once again, guys, I'm kind of playing around with some different stuff. This is the CoverGirl, like their clean line that is talc free or whatever. Looks like the color is Country Woods, like this color here. Okay, this next question is like a 3-in-1 deal. Okay, it says, is this your forever home? When did you decide you wanted to be a content creator and why did you decide to homeschool? So, all right, I'm gonna try to answer these quickly. Is this your forever home? Number one. I don't know. I love this home. I would love to live here forever and ever, but I'm open and willing to whatever God has for us. All right, when did you decide you wanted to be a content creator? Well, actually it goes way back. This is way back before I even had kids. I remember I was a substitute teacher, and a lot of times when you substitute teach in high school, the teacher will leave just like play this movie all day for the kids, you know, kind of a thing, in high school mainly. And so anyways, I remember I was on the computer one time while I was substitute teaching and I discovered somebody's blog. For the first time, I was like, oh my goodness, people actually can share their homes online and this is so cool. And I just felt so excited. I went home that day and I showed my mom. I was like, Mom, look, people like put their homes online. This is so cool. I want to do this one day. This was like 2010, a long time ago. So blogging was very much a new thing. And anyways, well, new for me, new for me. So anyways, that was probably the first time that little idea kind of got into my head. All right, and then the next question says, why did you decide to homeschool? I have always, ever since I was a little girl, so I just kind of went over that eyeshadow one more time. Now I'm going to use some eyeliner. If you want to look younger, you're supposed to like really smudge your eyeliner and blend it. So rather than having like a really harsh line, and try to use a black, especially, or I'm sorry, try to use a brown instead of a black, especially if you're blonde. All right, so I just put some eyeliner on, but now I'm going to kind of blend it out. Okay, so homeschool is just something that I have dreamt about since I was a little girl. I just always thought it would be so cool to homeschool my kids. But when the time actually came to homeschool them, we live in a small community, and I don't know, for whatever reason, I guess I just kind of felt like I've always been a people pleaser, and I guess I just felt like I needed to do what everybody else was doing. And I really didn't have the courage to step outside of like the social norm. Anyways, long story short, in 2020, the world shut down and I had the opportunity to homeschool for like that year and a half. And I just fell in love with it. And we never went back. So I finally got to kind of pursue what my heart's desire was all along. How do you protect your kids from all the bad influences in music and society? First of all, I just wanted to say, I don't know, you can kind of see how I blended that out. My lips need color so badly. This color is so pretty. It's by CoverGirl. It's called Romance Mauve. And let me just put some on really quick because my lips are so dry. Okay, so I hardly ever just do one thing on my lips. I always cover it up with some lip gloss. Oh, it's called Pink Sugar. And again, this company is saying that this is a clean product, but I have to actually check this out. Anyways, that's what I do with my lips. So let me throw some blush on. I'm using the Well People blush as well, and it's so pretty. This is in the color Hazelnut Harvest. So I just put some right on my cheeks here. I just kind of smile, put it right there on kind of like the apple of my cheek, and kind of just bring it back a little bit like that. And I do the same thing on both sides. All right, I had to move my camera over a little bit because I'm going to actually add a few curls into my hair. So, and I don't add curls every day, but if I'm filming for you guys, you can see I slept on this funky, so it's looking a little kinked. I'll just show you. Protecting our children. I would say that, one advantage of homeschool is that my kids might not be influenced by some of the things that kids are influenced by today. These little children that have smartphones and full-blown access to the internet, it's very scary. Any idea or thought or imagination they have, they can look it up and within seconds be shown, whatever their curiosity is. And it's just like, this is something that we as parents, we have to be so aware of. And my curling iron isn't, the wire isn't quite long enough. Anyways, like even if your children have friends, like let's say that you don't allow your kids to have smartphones, but they have friends with smartphones, that's really the biggest danger, is that it just takes a couple of seconds for someone to show your child something. And so you just have to be very aware of who your kids are hanging around with and what those friends have access to. Anyways, I hope that makes sense. I'm not naive. I know that eventually my boys are going to be exposed to things, and I think that we as parents just have to, like, going back to that attitude of just grace and love, we have to have that conversation with them and kind of explain, like, hey, what do you do if you see something that you know isn't right? Like, what should you do with that? Who should you talk to? And kind of just be having those conversations with them about that. A lot of you guys asked me to talk about homeschool, and I realized that not everyone who watches my channel homeschools. Now, I don't want these like perfect ringlets, so sometimes I just take my curling iron and kind of straighten out those end pieces like that so that it's not like Shirley Temple going on here. As you pull the curl out, if you want more of that like wave, which is something I always struggle with and I'm working on, then you kind of just pull the curling iron down so that it's not like a perfect little curl, if you like that look. Anyways, so we have switched curriculums twice now. Started off with a Becca, switched to the Good and the Beautiful, and I liked the Good and the Beautiful for younger children. But then as our boys got older, I felt like, just felt like it wasn't going great. And so it just seemed like every day the boys were not super excited about homeschool. I just really wanted my boys to have a love for learning, and I've always been intrigued by the Charlotte Mason style of homeschool. It's what I studied when I first switched over to homeschool. I read her books, I learned all about it, and then I chose like traditional curriculums. I think just because I was scared and I was unsure of myself. But this year I finally went all in and switched to a curriculum called Without Doors, and we are loving it. And let me just say that my boys are loving it. I cannot believe they don't complain about school anymore. They look forward to it. They love the stories. They love the reading. I will finish reading and they will beg me to read another chapter. So basically it's like Charlotte Mason style. She doesn't include math or grammar. So I had to kind of choose that on my own. And I brought up a few books. For math this year, we just went with Master Books curriculum. We're giving it a try. And so far, my boys are really liking it. We're doing that. And then for grammar this year, I kind of just got the boys each a little grammar worksheet book. This is called Gentle Grammar. And this is Caleb's. I think I got the older boys' grammar books through, it's called like Grammar Ace, and I got it through Sunlight, which I really considered Sunlight curriculum. One of my best friends uses Sunlight and she loves it, but I really wanted a little bit more freedom with our schedule. I tend to be someone who loves coming up with like crafts and projects, and I love to just to do extra little things. And so I wanted more freedom to be able to do that. With this curriculum, it's definitely one in which you're gonna have to decide, like, what are we going to do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and kind of break up your week the way you want it to. So this is what it looks like. She has several books, but we're doing Early America. It contains Bible, I don't know if you can see that, Bible, history, geography, literature, but this is from this past week's lessons. And what I like to do, she has like what you do for Bible this week, what you do for history this week, for geography, enrichment, literature, copywork, narration, and nature study. And so you kind of have to decide what you're going to do each day. And she has, basically she just has books that you read to your kids every day, and then they have to narrate what they've learned in something called a narration notebook, which has been a new concept for us this year, but I'm loving it, and I can really understand how this will help them so much more than what we were doing before. So I've got a couple of narration notebooks here. This is one that Ethan is using. This is the one that Caleb and Gabriel are using. And let me just show you an example. This is Caleb is 7. So for his narration notebook, he has to draw a picture of what we learned that day. Can you see that? And then write a sentence. Now, what does the narration notebook do? It helps them not only kind of explain what it is that they just learned in writing, so they've heard it, Now they're having to write it and they're having to draw it. So they're using lots of different senses to kind of explain what they've learned, and it helps a child to remember these facts. And it's just been so cool to see how much they have loved drawing pictures of what they learned. And so anyways, we've really enjoyed it. And not only that, but every day they write. And so they're working on their handwriting skills. I correct their spelling. They ask me how to spell words. They're trying to form sentences. And so there's just so many good things that come from these narration notebooks, but they also do copy work every day. So we do handwriting. They each have a copy workbook. And then we do nature journals. They have to draw animals, and we go on nature walks, collect leaves and stuff like that. So anyways, we've really been loving this curriculum. She does a lot of enrichment too. So we do artist studies, and the very back of the book she has, we're for the colonies, we've been drawing and painting the states every week, but then she has like studies on different artists here in the back and different like musicians, and also some paintings too that we have been studying, which have been really neat. All right, I did get one more question that I feel like this video is really long, so I'm gonna answer one more question about my Bible reading schedule. A lot of people have asked, how do you fit in Bible reading? And I just wanna say, when you have really little children, especially little babies, if you are homeschooling, first of all, I highly suggest wearing them in a wrap. That saved me when I was homeschooling and Isaiah was born. But also with Bible reading, I guess my recommendation, and it doesn't always work because little kids, they wake up early, but if you could try to get up early, that has been my saving grace all these years, trying to rise early. And I know it's not always easy, especially if you've been up all night with the baby. So show yourself some grace, and please know that God sees what your night was like. God knows. God knows what your sleep schedule was like. And he loves us so much. And I think sometimes we can be really hard on ourselves as moms when we don't have that quiet time with the Lord. But I would just highly recommend just prioritizing it and making it, attach your Bible time to something that you already do every single day. So if you drink coffee in the morning, like I do, I have just kind of taken the habit of reading my Bible and praying, and I have attached that with my morning coffee, and the two just go hand in hand now. I will always drink my coffee, read my Bible, and try to spend some time in prayer. And one thing that has really helped with my prayer life is to get down on your knees and pray. It really helps you to focus. It puts you in a posture of reverence, and it just really helps me to realize that I'm coming before the Lord. I don't know. I think that that's really helped me, as to, and I don't always do that, but if I find that my mind is really wandering, and I'm really struggling to focus on prayer, then getting down on my knees is very, very helpful. All right, I went and put my curling iron away. Listen, I feel like this has taken a really long time. Hopefully this wasn't too boring to watch. I'll show you really quick what I've been doing with my hair lately. My sisters just recently taught me this. So last year, they were sharing with me how I should start teasing my hair for more volume. So Catherine showed me this little brush here. And you basically just take a small section like this, and you just like backcomb it. I don't go crazy with teasing. This is still kind of a new concept for me, but I do feel like it does help a lot with volume. But the trick is, after you tease it a little bit, you hit it with some hairspray, and you just kind of let that sit for a second. Anyways, I hope I answered some questions for you guys. If not, please let me know. I would love to try to answer more in a future video. See the volume there? Now you kind of want to just smooth it down. Just gonna flip this back over, and I'll do the same thing on the other side, but that's kind of how you get that nice volume. That's a little too much volume, but that's how you get some nice volume in your hair. And obviously that'll die down a little bit throughout the day. Anyways, guys, just gotta curl my eyelashes, and thank you so much for joining me today. This was a lot of fun. Hopefully I answered some questions. Typically I will warm up my eyelash curler with my blow dryer just for a couple of seconds. That really helps my eyelashes to get some lift, but thanks so much for joining me today, and I cannot wait to finish decorating for Christmas. That's about it. I will see you guys next time, and if you are new here, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button. Bye-bye.